Hunterdon County.
How are you been?
Busy. Life slowed down a little bit, but it's still, there's a lot happening this year. So, and we had a really busy weekend.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. No, so we had Beyond Yarn's 4th birthday this weekend, which we went in person to celebrate the huge accomplishment.
Yep.
And spend time with all of our yarn friends. Some people who we haven't seen in quite a while.
Right.
And some people who we see either like at least once a month, maybe
Weekly.
more. Sometimes weekly.
Yeah, sometimes weekly.
It was just really nice to catch up with everybody and turn some heads with our looks on the catwalk.
I tried to be really dramatic with my catwalk.
You were successful. If you missed the post on Instagram, you got to see Tori. Go see it, and Tori strikes a couple very fabulous poses.
I was being really silly. I was in a silly mood.
Yeah. I am still waiting on the clearer pictures, which I will post to our story at a later date. But I couldn't wait. I wanted to post what I had, so and I think it doesn't matter. You can just feel the love and fabulousness from the photos.
Right. And I'm gonna do the same struts and catwalks when I go to Rhinebeck with the sweaters on.
Good. Perfect.
When it's not also 90 degrees.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But what else did you have this weekend?
My cousin owns a beach house in LBI, so I was down there for a short period of time.
Cool. Did you go with anybody?
I went with my husband, and my siblings were there as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. She has a lovely beach house.
Oh.
And we took walks, and it just, the atmosphere is not for me. It's very family oriented. Like, there's a lot of kids. It's very close together and packed, and it's just not for me. I don't really find enjoyment in that, but or the beach.
Yeah, I think both of us we can say proudly we are not beach people.
Yep.
We do live in a state where there are plenty of beaches that we can go visit for a day, but then we don't need to go visit them for an entire year.
Yeah, I'm okay with not visiting them for an entire year.
Absolutely.
And it's just a long way to travel too from Hunterdon County.
Oh, so. Yeah. No, it's definitely. So, not this past weekend, obviously, but the weekend before, Dan and I went to Asbury Park to celebrate a friend's 30th birthday, which was absolutely fabulous. But conversations were had on the beach about going to the beach again within the next couple of weeks, and I put my foot down as hard as I could with it being in sand. And said, Dan and I go to the beach once a year. We will not be going again. Do not wait for us. And they're and they wanted to try and convince us, and we're like, guys, we're all going to Miami for the same person's bachelor weekend.
Right.
We're not going to the beach again. Sorry. I'm gonna have a huge caption at the bottom that says, "Not beach people."
Yeah, I used to live close to the beach, but it used to be an all-day affair. It was morning until late afternoon that we would be on the beach. And I feel that ruined it for me because it just it doesn't sound fun. I want to be able to leave whenever.
Yeah. Well, and the whole thing is I feel there's just so many people. I'm not really a people person. I don't in certain aspects, yes, but the beach is already a place where it's hot. I'm not comfortable because
there's sand everywhere and crevasses.
Yeah, no, and it's just that's two things that already to me are absolute no-goes.
Right.
And now just add the fact that we're going to be here for hours on end. Yeah.
And then sure, you can go in the water, but some days the ocean is very angry, and it will pummel you into the sand, which is not fun. Or there's sea creatures, which are also not fun.
Can you tell we don't like the beach? I think we can move on to some other topic. We don't like the beach. We like the beach from a distance.
It's pretty.
We like yarn stores that are in beach towns.
Oh, yeah.
But that is it.
Sand and yarn do not mix.
No. Although I did knit these socks on the beach. I will show you guys progress on these later.
With a warning caption.
With a warning caption.
But yeah, so that happened. But, you know, on Sunday, it was a nice pool day instead, so it's just like, you know, I'm just gonna float in the pool instead, and we had a good time.
Awesome.
I was also forgetting which day it was, so I was like thinking, when was Sunday? Today's Monday. We're taping on a Monday.
Yes. Yes, we typically tape on Mondays. That's how it goes.
Yep.
Sorry.
So I forgot what day it was.
It's all good. It's all good. Other than that, I think that's like pretty much it as far as like what we've been up to these last. I mean, we've only been gone 2 weeks.
Yes.
So
I do have a question for you.
yes.
Does Dan do the thing where he's so wrong, but he will adamantly be like say things like he's correct? Like
he does it in a joking manner. He does it because he knows he's wrong, but he knows that I know he's wrong, and now he's just trying to aggravate me.
So he knows he's
aware.
incorrect.
He's aware he's incorrect.
Okay, how about times where he doesn't know he's incorrect, but will be adamant that he's correct?
I mean, it used to be a lot more, but it's few and far between now. I think he's become aware of how, like, this is a general thing. You as a person take a lot of traits from the people you were raised by.
Yep.
Let's just keep it at that. Dan has become more cognizant of the fact of the people, how he acts, very much like the people he was raised by. We love those people. Some of their habits are not good, and that's fine.
Right.
Dan is much better than he was when we first started dating.
Okay.
What did Sean do?
No, it's just like sometimes he'll be so adamant about something so incorrect. And I just laugh at him. I'm like, no, that's incorrect.
Okay.
I'll share a story. It's kind of cute.
Please.
So we were walking around the neighborhood, and we hear the call of a mourning dove, which is like hoo 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 hoo, something like that. He's like, why are there owls like in the morning? Like, aren't they like nighttime birds? And I'm like, no, those are mourning doves. Like he was so adamant, like, why are there owls? Like, he identified it. He was like, these are owls. I mean, now he's asking why there were owls. And I was
not
like,
owls.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're mourning doves. And he's like, what's that? And I was just like, you see them all the time.
Obviously, he did not pay attention to his bird classes very well.
Nope.
So.
It's just silly things like that where he's just so adamant.
Yeah.
Like,
so those are the things that Dan jokes about. Dan knows he's completely wrong.
Sean thinks he's right.
No.
Oh.
Dan's very much aware that he's wrong in most things.
I try to be nice and let him down easy. Sometimes he doesn't take it well.
Yeah, no, I stopped trying to do that. I don't know. I think Dan now is just like trying to like get the best of me, and like it's just aggravating. So sometimes I will just leave the room and he'll be like, but we were having a conversation. I'm like, no, you were trying to get me angry. I don't want to be angry right now.
Right. Best thing to do is disengage when your man is wrong and is adamant about it.
The stubbornness runs deep.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Do you have any Bangin FOs?
No.
Okay. All right. I do, but it's not here. But I will insert a picture of it. Mm-hmm. This is the ShareCare Hat by Raina K. It was a gift for my beloved Aunt Michelle. I spoke about it on our last episode.
Oh, nice.
I do have the leftovers of the yarn, however, so that you guys will see the picture of the hat. Here's the yarn. So this was the main color. This is Coastal Yarns in the color Marionberry Pie. A Marionberry is a very popular berry in the Pacific Northwest. They have Marionberry ice cream and pie and like the yarn name. And
I've never heard of it before.
It grows on a bush just like a blueberry, a blackberry, or raspberry, but it's like a purple color. So this is the yarn. And then
Yum.
the other color is this Oyster and Pearls, and I believe it's natural.
Oh, natural.
Oh, natural. It's just a nice creamy color.
Do you know what sheep that is? Is that merino?
Romney and merino.
Nice.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice, it's not super rustic, but
I like a nice
definitely
blend. Yeah, like you
yeah,
could throw
it's got
something
some
with
heft.
merino. Yeah, like it's like I appreciate like everybody's being consistent with merino because you know what you're getting out of merino.
Yeah, it's a 60% Romney, 40% merino blend.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like blends.
yeah, me too. But yeah, so that's my one finished object because it's only been 2 weeks. Although hopefully by the next one we will have something.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping to finish the stuff that I'm working on now.
Cool. Why don't we move into WIPs then?
Yep. So I'm currently doing a test for I Need a Crochet.
Ooh, very nice.
So right now it looks like a nice tank top. And when I put it on, it's a nice like belly shirt. But yeah, it's coming out very well. It's got it's crochet.
Okay.
So I don't think I've crocheted a lot on this podcast. We call ourselves the real Knitwives of Hunterdon County, but I also crochet.
Yeah.
And so I am doing this right now. It's got like a nice design. So I'm hoping to finish this up soon.
Yeah. What yarn is it out of?
So this is a yarn that I got at whatchamacallit? Rhinebeck.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm having a stroke. Let me pull out the tag.
Trying to remember which one it is. Oh, I know which one it is.
Yeah. Because I asked you about it.
Yeah.
So it's from Avalon Spring Farms. And this is their Pendragon yarn. In their colorway, the shadowy one. So this is superwash merino fingering and small batch hand dyed. So
very cool.
Yep, very cool. I think I'm gonna, have enough to finish off this sweater or tank top, and it's gonna be really fun. I don't think even with the wool, I don't think it's gonna be too hot. So this might even be like a summer thing.
And you know what? Well, it could be multiple months because you just need even if it's cooler out, you can wear that to work and throw a cardigan over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So.
And my sister's like, "Oh, you always choose the weirdest colors for things," and I'm like, "I like this."
I take offense to that.
Yeah, I'm like, I love.
Why is that a weird color?
Yeah, like
for one, it's not just one color; it's multiple colors.
But she's like, "You always choose the weirdest colors for things," and I'm like,
siblings.
Yeah.
This is why I don't have them.
I'm like, I like them. I like the like.
Oh yeah, no, that's
a lot
adorable.
of people are doing plain colors, and I figured that this would be a nice pattern to do something that's variegated. So, and
I mean, there's not too many different design elements, so it's not like the color, the variegated yarn is taking away from the stitches.
Exactly. So like that's why I was just like, oh, I'm gonna use this variegated yarn that I bought from Rhinebeck. Maybe I'll wear this to Rhinebeck.
You probably want to wear it at Woolen Folk.
Yeah, probably.
It's gonna probably be hot again.
No doubt it's probably gonna be hot again. But yeah, I was like super excited about this. And I, it's my first time doing a test crochet.
Okay, and without giving away too many details, how do you feel like it's going?
I think it's going well. There's some places where I messed up or that were a little bit hand wavy, so to speak. But I think I was able to adapt and make it follow the pattern.
Okay.
So I think it's an easily adaptable pattern for those who can adapt. I know some people are very strict to the pattern, so she's got a lot of test crocheters, and they're giving good input and catching some of her mistakes, and
it's always good to take the advice of your testers. I mean, sometimes some testers are gonna pick out those mistakes sooner than others,
right?
I think all feedback is helpful,
right? And that's what I'm trying to provide. Like, I'm not really, I don't have apparently these people don't have daytime jobs because they're just
Oh
like
yeah.
constantly blowing up the group chat, the
Yeah.
testing group chat, and I'm like sitting at my like office job, like, bro,
I have no time for you.
yeah, I'm like, how are you doing this at like 11 a.m. on like a Tuesday? So I'm not like diving deep into the details. I'm just making it, as like
Yeah.
I would, and
Yeah.
then, giving all my notes at the end.
Absolutely. So like I feel like there's two different types of testers. You have the ones that, again, like Tori said, don't seem to have a day job, which is most likely the case. They're either professional test knitters, they could be retired people, they could be people with flex schedules.
I thought you said schedule.
Flex. Thank you. Flex schedules who have time during the day, maybe work in the afternoon or whatever. I'm gonna kick you out of here. Dear God, woman. It's a water breakdown.
Yeah, so wait, how do you become a professional tester? Because it's not like we're getting paid.
Well, no, but there are people out there that do get paid for this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And you just like hire them?
Yeah. Yeah. Or you have people that like will make samples for people, which isn't always the same as a test knit. Some people will sample knit rather than test knit, which means that they don't keep the finished product, but they get compensated in some other way.
I would do that. I think because I've done commissions before, I would definitely sample.
Yeah.
And I have done samples before for
Yeah.
Beyond Yarn, but like,
Yeah.
I would totally do that.
It's definitely a good time.
Yeah.
But the other kind of test knitter, before we get away from that, is the test knitter that is interested in helping out the designer, maybe doesn't have all the time in the world and isn't, looking through the nitty gritty, but they're devoted to the test and they will give solid feedback.
Me. Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. No. So, any more notes on your test crochet?
I'm just having fun.
Good.
I'm having fun so far. I like how it's fitting so far.
Mm-hmm.
When I try it on, I'm not gonna try it on now.
No.
And so I'm having fun with it.
Good.
And it's a little bit difficult to work through just because it's fingering weight yarn with a larger millimeter hook.
Okay.
Which you would use a smaller hook, but like to meet gauge, you would, for this one, you would make use this hook.
Okay.
So
very good.
Yeah.
Any other WIPs?
Just the socks.
Okay. All right. I've got 2-ish things that we'll have much more progress on next time. So first I'll start with my autumn court sweater, which is literally a collar. Mm-hmm. But I felt like you guys needed a progress report because this is going to be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. I have already completed one of them. It was the Cargill, which I completed earlier in the springtime. This is by Hoard Designs by, I forget her last name, but the designer's first name is Tristan. And she also hand dyes yarn. Mm-hmm. This is in the colorway Selena.
And you got that at Wool and Folk last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The yarn for this sweater, it's a colorwork yoke sweater, which I'll insert a picture of the pattern so you guys can get a better idea. But essentially the next step for this is to start the color work.
Fun.
Yes, very fun. I've picked out like an aqua blue, a lime green, and like a lilac-y purple to do all the fun color work. So I'm really, really excited to see how it turns out. But yeah, so far so good. This will be my second pattern from Hoard Designs. I did another one of her patterns earlier this year for Ashley's birthday sweater.
Yes, and that's featured in previous episodes. Yep. So if you definitely want to see that,
go back to like February, I think.
Yeah,
February. I think that was the last episode it was in.
I don't know. Just watch all of our episodes and you'll find out.
It's better that way. Watch them all if you haven't already, or watch them all again.
Yep.
So that's the autumn court sweater. Hopefully, I'm hoping to have some color work done on that next episode. Okay. My next WIP hasn't been cast on yet, but I did swatch. So this swatch is for the test knit for JST Knitwear Designs. It's a shawl.
Bingo.
It's a shawl. She finally found out we have a podcast.
Yeah, she finally found out we had a podcast.
So I didn't know you had a podcast.
How are her ears not ringing?
I don't know.
This entire time.
I don't know. Anyway, so this is for Jen's newest shawl pattern. It was written while she was recovering from an injury to her calf. She was bedridden for a little while. She was bedridden during our last test for the Seashore Stroll, which you saw last episode. And she's finally, getting back to her normal, usual self. But yeah, so the gauge swatch called for stockinette stitch. So I held a yarn double. The yarn I'm using is Jagger Spun yarns in the color Wisteria. It's in their heather base. You can kind of see it's different shades of purple.
Yeah, there's like multicolors within it.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
It's a beautiful spin, but this is a fingering weight yarn, and the pattern that we're testing for is a DK weight. So I had enough to hold it double. So the next step is to wind myself all these little balls of
fun
of yarn. So I've got a couple more skeins to wind up, but I'm pretty much on gauge. I think the gauge was 23 stitches. I'm at 22.
Okay.
I'm calling that gauge. Because knowing myself, when I'm knitting quickly now, it seems that I am knitting looser.
Loosey goosey.
So I'm not I knit the swatch really, really quickly. So I'm thinking that if I'm
let me feel that.
It's definitely got a bit of like.
You block this?
Yeah.
It's like feels very sturdy.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of like, you like rustic things, so she's definitely going for something rustic here. Yeah. But like, I can see you wearing that.
Yeah.
I don't think I would wear it as a sweater because it might feel too prickly for me, but.
No, but I think for a shawl it would be really, really pretty. And this color in particular goes with a dress that I plan to wear for a wedding in September. So the deadline for the test is end of August.
Do you know what fiber fiber material that is? Just says wool.
It just says wool. That's interesting.
Well, guys, it's 100% wool.
Yep. That's all I got. But I'm excited to work on that. But yeah, those are my 2 WIPs, other than the one thing that we should not speak of without spoiler alerts.
All right, so you want to...
Spoiler alert!
Wah, wah, wah.
And just like last time, the Stephen West Super Surprise Sock Along, I added another S in there.
Yep.
Starts now.
Okay.
You want to go first, or should I?
You can go first. I didn't finish Clue 3, but I'm almost done with Clue 3.
Okay.
Definitely these cables.
Lovely.
Okay. So I was complaining to Madison
oh my god,
how I feel about the midsection. So for me right now, it looks like alien legs.
This?
Yeah.
You don't like this?
No, I don't like the middle
section.
Yeah, I don't like the middle section.
Because when I was talking to you earlier, I thought you meant this section.
No, I love that. I love this section.
Okay.
Which is the part of Clue 2. So this is part of Clue 2, and then this is part of Clue 2, as well as the heel turn. I was happy with this part. Not so much this part. It's just a little disconnected feeling for me, especially because you go back to the striping for Clue 3. Oh crap.
What happens if that welting, this is called welting, by the way.
Yes.
What happens if the welting is on the foot? On the top of the foot? How are you going to feel?
Then maybe I will, I don't know, maybe I would feel a little bit more connected. Okay. I don't know. So I'm just like, it would be nice if they were like in different socks. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. This is my first Stephen West.
What color are you using? What colors? What yarn?
I mentioned it last episode. Mint chocolate chip and pistachio by Chelsea Lux Yarn.
Okay.
In their sock weight.
Very cool. All right. So I disagree. I love all of this sock very, very much, including the cables.
Okay, you did like 2 rows of the...
Because I wanted a shorter sock.
Yeah, like...
You could have done the same thing.
I'm trying to be true to the design.
I'm trying to be true to myself.
It just looks like alien skin.
That's just a very strange take. So...
You're a very strange take.
I know. So, these are my little cables. This, right sock, because I labeled it with a stitch marker at the top. It's my right sock. This one is complete for clue-free, and I'm working on the last, 11 or so rows on the left sock for clue-free. So, but I'm in absolute heaven with this right now. I can't stop knitting it. Haven't put it down. My colors are Cake Wool in the colorway Twinkle, and Ball Yarns La Jolla in the color February 2023.
And listen, when I said this was a top-down sock to her with a normal heel turn, she was just freaking out because she's always done
toe up.
I
like toe up. I don't like trying on the sock like this. But I like that. I like the way that he wrote it, and I found his video very helpful when I was trying to figure things out. So, the one thing, it wasn't even the heel turn for me. It was doing the gusset pickup that freaked me out.
Oh. I was wondering how you're going to feel about that.
I hated it. It went fine, but I hated it.
Right.
So.
Sometimes it doesn't go fine for me, and I'm just like, oh well.
It seemed like there was an extra, pickup spot for stitches for me.
Yeah, I had one, which is normal, and you can fix this. It's at, the corner, where the kind of, 2 parts meet, so, the side and the top, which you can patch up at the end.
Yeah, I figure any holes I find are just getting, I've got plenty of ends in this sock. I will be patching up holes left and right. But yeah, so this is the second to last clue. The last clue comes out Thursday, the 28th.
Yep, this Thursday.
27th, sorry, 27th.
Yes.
Got my days mixed up.
Yep, this Thursday, so we will be finishing up our socks.
Yeah. My goal is to be finished up by Monday night. But it really depends on how Clue 4 goes.
Yep.
Because I'm going away this weekend.
Yep.
And I do have 12 hours in a car, but depending on how much time I want to devote to this and how crazy it makes me, I don't know.
Yep. And
don't know how far
I've been preoccupied with my test crochet.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The other reason I want to get it done is so I can focus on the test knit.
Right.
And my sweater.
Yeah, and then I signed up for a class at Beyond Yarn.
Ooh.
Don't ask me what it's for because I forget.
I know what it's for.
Okay, if you can say.
It's for the Summer Ella.
Yes.
And you realize that class is going to be during our next Zoom craft night.
Well, Steen said I can always make the classes up.
Okay, good.
Because one of the classes is on Sean's birthday.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I can't do your class. And she's like, no, you can always make up we could do individual sessions.
Okay.
I was like, oh, cool. Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just bring
maybe I'll do Zoom craft night from Beyond Yarn.
Okay. Fair. And you could bring Steen along.
Yeah, and Steen will be there.
Okay.
And I'll be in a class.
And you'll be in a class. That is to say, before we get into our main topic, last week was our July meeting of the Zoom crafters, the Zoom craft night. And then the next one is going to be held on August 18th.
Yep.
They're always on Fridays. They're always at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Friday may change depending on my schedule. But yeah.
Why don't we get to our unfortunate main topic today?
So we mentioned it last time. We felt like it was time for episode 10 to get a little uncomfortable. To get a little bit scared. To re-experience maybe some of our
PTSD
nightmares. These are our yarny nightmares.
Okay, when you say yarny, it sounds like carny, and like carny nightmares also would be applicable here.
No, our yarny nightmares. Because I didn't know if you had any crochet nightmares, so I didn't want to say just knitting nightmares.
Oh, I have crochet nightmares.
Okay, so yarny nightmares. There you go.
I have a lot of lessons. I like to call them lessons learned throughout the years.
Yes. Yeah.
Because man, I learned those lessons pretty quickly.
Yeah. No. What's your first thing that you want to bring up?
All right. So for me, we're gonna go back in time.
Okay.
And to my first knitted sweater.
Okay.
I forget the name of this designer, but the sweater is called the Bird Song. We can input the designer later.
Yep.
She has a fantastic pattern. It's just that the yarny nightmare that I did was I mixed two different yarns together, which doesn't sound bad at first, but they're two different weights.
Okay.
So one was a fingering.
Uh-huh.
And the other was a worsted weight.
Oh, God.
So you can imagine how messed up that sweater is.
Yeah.
Which I still have. And I didn't do the sleeves right. And there's just a lot of stuff messed up on that sweater. And a lot of lessons learned. A lot of lessons learned. Was it a waste of yarn? Yes. Should I just pull it out? No, because it's still a constant reminder of mistakes made.
So you said you still have this one.
I do.
So we can insert a picture of it.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
There
you go.
I wanted to bring it tonight, but I was rushing out of the house.
No, it's okay. Tori will be inserting pictures of Tori's nightmares that she has pictures of or still has around. I have my nightmares in person, so.
Oh, great.
Because we're filming at my house, so I had more time to put my shit together.
That is also true.
So, that is all. You get some pictures and some live objects.
Yeah.
Live objects.
Live nightmares.
Live nightmares. Okay. So my first one is a lesson in making sure that you're purchasing all of the same dye lot. So I decided last summer that I was going to make my first crop top. I wanted to do the Rift Tee by Jacqueline Slazak. I still like the pattern. Mm-hmm. It's a very good pattern. It's very size inclusive. Has nothing to do with the pattern.
Right.
It has everything to do with the yarn.
You done
and the inconsistency between dye lots is so extreme that it was more of a thing of I was at the Wool Walk 2021. I was buying yarn. 2022. I was at Wool Walk 2022, and I was buying this yarn because I got a good deal on it. And was I paying attention to what dye lots? No. So I got two different dye lots. I got 3 skeins in one dye lot. I got 3 skeins in another dye lot. Did I pay attention when I started winding the balls? Absolutely not.
Yep.
If I have a picture of the of the project prior to my try and fix, I will insert it here. I'm pretty sure I do because I texted a picture of it to you.
Yeah.
So I will insert it here. It's no longer in that state because the next step on the pathway to recovery was I'm going to now try to over dye this, which if you don't know what over dyeing is because you're new or whatever and you're maybe confused, over dyeing is the process of dyeing a fiber project that was already previously dyed with commercial dye or acid dye, like whatever, depending on the fabric, the fiber content, to try and like either make a garment new, right or wrong. In this case, it was right or wrong. I'll show you the over dyed project. So there were other issues with this project, but because I decided to over dye it, and then I didn't love how it over dyed, I then bleached it. The fabric is not the same, and it shrunk. So it's now what I like to call a boob top, meaning you wear high-waisted pajama pants with it when you're home by yourself.
Yep.
It doesn't see the light of day because it covers my boobs and that's about it. So, enough said. Although it is a pretty turquoise color and it is all now one shade, it's too small. So eventually I'll be redoing this project, but I will be checking my dye lots.
I have something along that same vein that I'm currently working through.
Yep.
So I was working on a shirt last time, which has the same problem. So if you're, a supporter of indie dyers or just like people who, hand dye and like our local dyers and whatnot, good for you. But you gotta remember, and I didn't remember, that all of their lots are not consistent, or they might even not have lots. So I got, even buying the same yarn at the same time, have different colors running through my sweater currently. So yay. Will I over dye it? Probably not. I really love the color.
Yeah.
So it would break my heart to over dye it.
Yeah.
But lessons learned is kind of if you're doing a sweater quantity, pick somebody a little bit more consistent. Because sometimes local dyers or hand dyers are not consistent, and it becomes a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on, sorry. I gotta fix this. Alright, my next nightmare is regretting the fact that I didn't have someone try these on as I was going. These were a gift. They are still being used. They are still being loved. They are the wrong size.
Yep.
These are a pair of mittens using the world's easiest mitten pattern by Tin Can Knits. I had a lot of fun making these. However, my husband's hands are not this big. If you can see, this glove is bigger than my face.
Yep.
Can you see that now? My husband's hands are just a wee bit bigger than mine. I measured his hand circumference, and it told me to make the extra large size. Just because someone's hands are wide does not mean that they are tall.
Yep.
Try the glove on. Try it on.
Yep, I had that same problem with gloves I made for my parents, especially because I made it out of like super silky, like llama, like baby llama and silk.
Yeah.
So it was extra stretchy, and so like I was like, you could just frame these. These are like, pretty to look at gloves and not functional, or wear like 10 pairs underneath.
Yeah. Yeah. No. With those, Dan will wear another pair of gloves underneath, so they will fit.
So one of my nightmares is I was doing a lace shawl that I put off to the side, put into timeout for almost a year. And then when I went back to the pattern, I said, where am I? But also I was just like, oh God, I messed up. Past Victoria was super stupid and she up so badly. So I had to basically unravel lace, like take it off the needles and unravel it on the floor. And
oh my God,
that was so petrifying because also my dog came over and like went boom boom onto it, and I was just like, no,
God.
don't move it, please.
Stop touching the
No,
project.
it's lace, please. I didn't want to start that over because it was so far, and it was like,
Yeah.
I should have marked where I was. And I should have. Oh, I did not.
And you didn't.
And I had to use detective clues to figure out where the was. And then once that was done, then I had to unravel it and like super carefully unravel it, because then like stitches were dropping and like you got yarn overs, and it like on like, be careful when you're doing lace. That's just like,
double make sure you're on the right row. If you leave your project before you finish a chart, mark what part of the chart that you left off on.
Mark what part of your chart. And don't leave it in a space where there's animals that like yarn.
No. Bad idea.
That I'm learning that lesson as we go. Because I have a puppy that is a yarn thief, and she will just steal my projects off of.
The project doesn't even have to be moving. It can just be sitting.
She loves projects more than food.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah, she loves yarn more than food. So yeah, she will grab my projects, and then I'll see just a ball of yarn around the entire house. So
okay. My next project that I regret or have some regrets about, some nightmares still about, happens to be my first test knit for Jen. I love this pattern.
Oh boy.
But the yarn that I chose, and I've learned this about this yarn now, this particular yarn likes to grow a lot. It's not just because it's superwash.
Hold on. It's a grower, not a shower. Okay, continue.
Anyway, it's a lovely project, but because I overblocked it, and because it's superwash yarn, it grew a ton. So it honestly, I think I was trying to make a size 5. I think this is now a size 6, almost a size 7. The neckline is way too big. This is another lounge around the house top. Eventually, I think I will redo this one. I do have the sister patterns too. These, this is the, I'll put the name in the bottom. They're all sea related. I'm sorry. The other ones are called the Sea Field and the Seashore Stroll. This is called something sea related.
I'm trying to remember.
Because you also did
Sea Breeze. There you go.
No.
Damn it.
That's wrong.
Okay.
I will tell you that, and it's not that.
Remember when we were talking about men being confidently right?
No. Incorrect.
Confidently incorrect.
Anyway, so this is out of LSDK, which is a Wonderland Yarns yarn. That yarn is great for shawls. I wouldn't put it in a garment ever again.
It also bleeds.
Yeah. That particular yarn likes to bleed. It's very soft. It's very soft in the skein. It's very soft in the project. So it's not deceivingly soft that and becomes gross. It's not like, it's not a problem. It's just not something I would ever use in a garment again.
And I also use that for my sea sweater as well. Mine didn't grow as much. I still wear it regularly. And yeah, for me, but like it just like I had to make sure that the color was staying, because every time I would do anything with it,
it would bleed.
If a drop of rain rained on me, I would be bleeding blue.
Yeah.
So
I guess my one fix is for this. If you want to use a yarn that is superwash for something, definitely do a swatch of it if you're going to put it in a garment and block it. See how it blocks, because if it blocks and it grows a lot, that's how it's going to happen. What's going to happen every single time you wash that garment.
Yep.
So you're going to have to find a way to still sanitize that garment after wearing it several times without it losing its shape, without it losing, the structure that it should have. I think this honestly, this project was part of the reason why I wanted to venture into more rustic yarns.
Oh yeah, because you were like swearing against
I can't stand
superwash.
I'm more likely than not going to use a rustic wool and, just condition it well enough that it's going to become soft because I can attain that and then it's going to hold its shape.
Right, and there's great conditioners out there.
Absolutely. Okay. Your next nightmare.
So my next nightmare was pretty recent. It was for the Eichnick shawl that I did for my grandmother.
Oh yeah.
This nightmare is that I washed this shawl and found out that a stitch was dropped.
Oh god.
After it was pulled out of the wash.
Yeah.
And laid flat. And this, if you go back to previous episodes, and I'll show you the picture of how bad this drop stitch was.
Yeah.
There is complicated cables. This is probably the most complicated cable I've ever done.
Kate something or other. What's her last name? She's from Scotland.
Yes. We've talked about her work before. Yeah. Once again, we'll put it in the show notes. Please see previous episodes because we mentioned her a lot because I was doing that shawl for a while.
Yeah, you were.
But once again, complicated cables, beautiful work. Because one stitch basically fell the entire way down, and I had to sit and do surgery. I was like panicking. It was like Christmas Eve.
You were shaking.
I was like panicking. I was like, I have to give this to my grandmother tomorrow. Like, oh my god, it was a night. It was literally like a nightmare.
Yeah. I don't think that's your worst nightmare.
No. We'll get to my worst nightmare next.
Yeah.
But it was pretty bad, and I still have PTSD from it. Yeah. Make sure you bind off all your stitches before you like soak or wash or just whatever you're doing, because it will show once it comes out.
Absolutely.
Oof.
Oh my god. I'm now really like, I'm scared. I'm scared to drop a cable. I'm scared to not bind off all my stitches.
Right.
I will bind off all my stitches. Okay. My next nightmare happened on one of my first shawl projects. I love this shawl. It's probably the most loved picture on my knitting Instagram. It is of my shawlography. This lovely beast that took me 6 weeks to do. I love her dearly. You will find, though, that there's a puckered edge right here because I didn't know how to do floats. And so my colorwork section is very, very tight. And I didn't know what to do when it came to this. I figured, I can just go willy-nilly. It's going to be fine. And then somewhere along the time where I was blocking this, and I'm like, why can't I get like a nice like curve edge to this? It's puckering. Like, oh shit. I did this part. Like, I was too tight on my knitting. I don't even think I had to do floats, honestly. I think I was just really, really tight. And then I bound off, like, in this area tight.
Yeah.
So I still love wearing this shawl. I can't wear it in certain ways, though.
Yeah.
Because of that edge. So, now I'm really conscious when I'm doing color work to, like, stretch everything out the right way, not too much, so you can see behind the stitches, but, adjust things as I go, because in the long run, like, yes, it takes another extra couple minutes, but it saves me in the long run because it means I can wear the actual garment or shawl that I'm wanting to wear.
Right. And it looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks like you, like, machine made once, like, all those floats and stuff are, like... We just found another nightmare.
What the heck? Okay, this is going in the pile to get mended.
Yeah, so you're watching a live on-air nightmare.
I'm gonna cry. There's a hole in my knit. And it's like
Did the yarn break?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, that's another nightmare that I've had on my what is it? The Cargill.
Oh God.
I washed my Cargill and it came out with broken yarn. In the middle, like on my boob section, noticeable in the front, like was a giant hole because the yarn broke. So that took some clever problem solving to fix that.
That's crazy. I'm listening. I'm just making sure there's no other place where there's a massive hole.
Oh my God. I wonder where you got that from. Like, what happened?
It could have just happened while I was like putting things away. Like it could have gone stretched on something. It's made out of machita, which is single. It's not. It doesn't have any plies. It's single ply yarn.
Oh yeah.
It's very easy because it looks like it just snapped right here. Because the stitch didn't even fall.
Oh wow.
Because it seems to have felted itself. So we're gonna. I don't even have a stitch marker at the moment to like pen this, but
here. Oh, you can borrow mine.
Thanks. I'll give you one back in return. Something.
We can't focus right now.
Sorry, I'm performing. Like I can't do anything right now. I have more of this yarn, so I can mend it.
Right. It's never gonna look the same.
At least it's a dark color.
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened. You're seeing it live right now. I am crushed.
Yeah.
Do you have something else to talk about? How I recover?
So another night. This is a crochet nightmare. So with knitting, the one of the best things about knitting is that if you mess up a row, you can actually go down like the stitch and fix that row and then come back up. Crochet, you can't do that. So I have done multiple shawls where I've gotten to a certain point and I'm like, why is my stitch count off?
Yeah.
And it turns out that multiple rows down, I have messed up. And, you know, that's all that work, all that time is just gone to shit. And now I have to frog it. And my mom has seen me like frog like multiple shawls before, and she's like, why are you frogging it? Like, why are you taking it out? And I was like, I messed up. And she's like, nobody's gonna notice. And I'm like, I noticed. It just like it doesn't work if the like some things the stitch count is off, so you have to fix it. That's unfortunate. And some things I'm just like, I'm too lazy to fix, and then I pay the price later. So
no, I on that topic, my first ever like finished object, like that I consider my first finished object was a scarf that I wore pretty much all throughout high school. And I wore it with pride because I made it myself.
Right.
Looking back, that thing, I made it into an infinity scarf, which saved me because there is a definite scoop in the infinity scarf, which means that at some point my gauge went off. I decreased somehow. I don't know, because I didn't even know what a decrease was when I was 15 years old.
Aww,
so
yeah, you probably just missed the stitches.
But I had no drops. Like that was really, really strange. It was also it was made out of a Lion brand yarn. It was really like, it's not rustic. It was just really woolly. So it's like gripping onto itself. So there's a, likelihood that I could have dropped stitches. I don't know.
Right.
Because I still have it somewhere. That's the one nightmare I couldn't find. It's somewhere in this house. I just don't know where.
Right.
But I've got one last nightmare to share. And you have?
One last nightmare to share.
Okay.
So, do you want me to go first?
I think yours is more heartbreaking. Do you want to go last?
Yes, I'll go last.
Okay. All right. So, I still wear this. I still love this very, very much. This is the Maven top by Rachel Ramo. It's now got a long sleeve version as well. My nightmare about this was only my second garment, and you can easily tell where I did my increases. They look like little eyelets everywhere. And that's not how the pattern was written. It's not supposed to have those.
Oh.
So This is just a lesson for me to be like more tight with my increases when I do them. Because like they are noticeable. Everyone says
were they like pick up in the middle? Were they right
so
leaning?
I don't remember what they were. But this was like my second project that would have required increases like this. So it was also just a lack of not like being aware of how increases lay, how they're supposed to look, how they're not supposed to look. So we've definitely learned. Mine still aren't perfect, but they're definitely a lot less noticeable than this.
Right.
This is a t-shirt. Don't really care.
Right.
I still made it. And even though it wasn't designed to have eyelets in it, only people that know are the people who've done this pattern, and now you guys that I have now told this to. But if you'd see me on the street with this, unless you were a really experienced knitter and were like literally looking at my tatas, you wouldn't have known.
Who isn't? They're there.
They are there.
I honestly thought
my eyes are up here, Victoria.
I honestly thought the eyelet was part of the pattern because I've seen that before where the eyelet is part of, like, they will do that increase as part of the pattern. So I, as an experienced knitter, thought it was part of the pattern. And I would have been.
It's not part of the pattern.
Nope. It's
not. They're supposed to be striped lines of pearls. And mine go like this. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, go ahead.
All right, I cue the sad music. This
is a tiny little violin going in the background. Yep.
This is truly heartbreaking, which I think I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because I had to make a whole new sweater.
You saw the sweater, the secondary version of the sweater.
Oh, but you did not see the aftermath of my heartbreak.
No.
Which I have pictures of. So what happened was, so I do the dangerous game of using my washing machine to soak my work. And then it will spin out the excess water, so it's easier to block. So I don't have to squeeze out all the water by myself. It'll come out already ready for blocking, and so on and so forth. So I put my Buffalo Rose pullover, 0.1, 1.0.
Yeah.
Into the washing machine to soak and then spin out. And the temperature was wrong. So when you are doing anything with wool or any kind of animalistic fiber, do not put it in hot water and then agitate it, because you will felt everything. And this came out felted. And most of these mistakes that we were talking about can be fixed. That could not be fixed.
No.
It was gone. It was not itself anymore. It shrunk. It was weird size. It was completely felted. It was not the same anymore.
The only solution is to now go buy more yarn and redo the sweater.
I sobbed hysterically. I sobbed so hard.
This happened the morning we were supposed to go somewhere.
It was like St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
Pretty sure you were doing something. I sobbed so hard. My husband came home from the store and I told him, and he held me and he said he would throw it out for me.
I thought you were gonna burn it.
No.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh, but you get to do your favorite thing, buy more yarn."
Too soon.
Too soon,
Sean.
Yeah. So that in itself was lessons learned.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking. Like it was like heartbreaking to know that there was no solution.
Yeah.
It was just gone.
Yeah.
It was like you can't reverse time to go back and fix it.
No.
Yeah.
No. So have you used your washer to block any of your garments since?
No.
Okay.
Just because I'm afraid of making the same mistake twice.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the sad thing. Like, that's a very expensive mistake to make because it's a whole sweater. When you're our size, that's a couple $100 worth of yarn. Yeah. In most cases.
And it wasn't like it was cheap yarn. It was the Fiber Co. like nice yarn.
Yeah.
Which was heartbreaking. It was just gone. It was completely gone. So just do not like, and that's for any, like, unless you're working with acrylic, unless you're working with one of the artificial fibers.
Even I think you could be safe with cotton.
Even I just read the label.
Yeah.
And do not use hot water and agitate any wool.
No.
It will felt like no tomorrow. Unless you're looking for the felted look. If that's what you're going for, then by all means.
No. This past weekend we saw a really cute felted bag.
Yeah, and felted mittens.
Yeah.
Which are like it's part of, our yarn culture. However,
that was not what you were going for.
Oh no, it was not. No, it was not. So now I have a new sweater that I made. That you, I guess, see on Instagram because I walked the runway with.
Yes, and no, you shared it last time on the podcast.
Also true. Buffalo Roast 2.0.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be making that pattern again for a while because usually 3 times for me is too many.
Yeah.
So
no, can confirm.
Yep.
I would say that I hope that these nightmares of ours are lessons for all of you. You've all had similar or the same problems come up in your projects. So, we hope that our little trip down memory lane, you're not alone. We've been doing this for a little while and we're still making mistakes.
We're still up in every single way.
Your count on that is like up to 20, I think, in this episode. I haven't said it once.
I know. I'm in a very cursy mood today.
I can see that. Something must have happened at work.
No, actually, I had a pretty good day at work.
Okay. So you swear like a sailor when you're excited?
I swear like a sailor all the time.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Except when my mom's present.
Yeah. Well, my mom is going to be watching this, so.
I've sweared in front of your mom before.
I know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our listening to our stories about all the times things went wrong.
Yeah. Which occur more often than they should.
Yeah.
And far more, like, a lot of these things are recent. Because I've only been, like, knitting and crocheting for, like, 3 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I learned a lot in those 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot in the last 3 years. A lot in the last year.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly. Because, the more you're willing to take risks, the more you open yourself up to bigger and better mistakes.
Happy little accidents.
Yes.
My role model Bob Ross says.
Yes. And just because, you have been doing this longer or whatever, doesn't mean that you won't make mistakes. You're just more likely to make bigger mistakes.
Oh yeah.
So but being afraid of making mistakes should, like, that fear keeps you from doing really, really cool things. So I'm not gonna not do a sweater because I once did my increases wrong or picked the wrong yarn or did the color work wrong on something. I'm going to still do the sweater. I'm just going to think about all those times that I made those mistakes.
And do better.
And choose to do better. Be, like, aware, okay, this happened once, let's not repeat that.
And you should listen to Madison because she really took risks this year, and I'm really proud of her for taking those risks.
Thank you.
Which were socks and cables. Like, for the longest time, she was afraid of socks and cables, and now she loves it. So, like,
I love socks.
She did cables, so, like, she took the risk there.
I did.
She has successfully done cables.
Yeah.
Very proud of her.
Yeah.
And like I said before, everything but the felting was easy to, well, not easy, but it
was fixable.
It was fixable.
Yeah.
And if you put your mind to it, it's fixable. Don't put it into timeout.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're really, really angry about it, then, give it a little bit of a timeout.
Yes, but mark where you were.
Yeah, make sure you leave good notes.
Yeah.
About where you left off.
Yeah, so future you isn't angry at past you.
Yeah.
Because I've had that a couple
Absolutely.
times.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's it on the main topic, but I just a couple reminders for everybody.
Okay.
Zoom Craft Night, August 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's a Friday. So bring your cocktail or your mocktail and your current WIP of choice. Crochet, knitting, embroidery, whatever.
And we just talk about anything.
Yeah.
And we just have fun with each other and, you know.
Good at least hour and a half before I want to go to bed and fall asleep.
Right.
So
before she turns into a pumpkin.
Until I turn into a pumpkin. And then if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, like and comment below.
We would love to hear your nightmares.
Yes. If you want to share your story with us, DM us with it on Instagram or send us an email with your wackiest mistake, the thing that is still a hell you'll die on.
Where can you find us on Instagram?
So our Instagram is realknitwives_Hunterdon County. It'll be down in the description below. Our email is realknitwives Jesus.
She's having a stroke.
knitwivesofhunterdoncounty@gmail.com. No real, just knitwives, hunterdoncounty.com. That'll be down below as well. And TikTok is Real Knitwives of HC, I believe. Because it couldn't be too long. I only got so many characters.
Right.
So everything's an iteration on the YouTube podcast name.
Well, we hope you keep watching and listening.
Yeah. Oh, and I did realize something today. That there's such a thing as a public subscriber and a private subscriber. So unless you go into your YouTube settings, most of the time you're considered a private subscriber. And that means we don't know that you're there.
Oh
we don't know who you are.
Oh.
Which is really, really sad. So if you go below, I'm going to link the instructions to, if you're interested in changing your settings from private to public. The only difference is that we get to know that you're subscribed to us. That's really the only difference.
And we get to shout out, like, your kudos. And,
exactly.
You know, like, we love you guys.
Yeah. And
thanks for your support, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That jazz.
Exactly. And we get to know everyone who's following along with us.
Right.
So I'll leave that link in the show notes as well for
right.
if you guys are interested in figuring that out. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yammering, I think.
All right.
I'm Madison.
I'm Tori.
And this has been the Real Knitwives of Hunterdon County. Bye!